Hello, Kindred. How are we this evening?
Hello. Well,
We have some business we need to take care of, as Jimmy has woken up with the rest of the coterie and has been basically drug along on this. You're not sure what, Jimmy, but you know that you've woken up in the hospital with a group of people that or a group of vampires that you've barely met. Don't really know them all that well. After being invited to a circus via a text on a phone that you didn't have previously, before the prince strolls into this hospital, this old abandoned hospital that's been abandoned for roughly about 40 years, and starts making accusations, starts talking to these individuals like she knows them. And like she is very highly annoyed. You have decided to pull Sweets, and for sake of expediency, also Maki to the side. 2 birds, 1 stone. Into a side room as the prince walks out, and everybody starts to disperse. With the door shut. The floor is yours.
apologies if I'm going to be a little bit laggy on this. Been kind of having trouble. So apologies on that.
You're fine.
Jimmy comes in, closes the door, and his entire visage that everybody knew dissipates to something very serious. Sweet has seen this before. When he's being serious, he means business. Sweets, you know my stance on the Camarilla already. Pretty well. I don't know if you know all the details, but when
I know enough.
When I was in the courtroom, it was usually when I was in trouble. 80 years later, here I am, back out of torpor because of my punishment being over. That being said, I know the Camarilla well enough to know the Elysium, for the most part, is safe. They're well established, as you may know. They've been here since the 1800s. At the very pinnacle of this particular province coming, Alberta becoming a province, was a thing. As you may know, that there was quite a few things that happened. I understand you want to help Maki. I understand you want to represent her. Unfortunately, I know you. You are far less Camarilla than you are Anarch. They would not accept you as I do, or as the Coterie does. We both know that. There is a representative there, but I don't know their names. We'll have to find that out once we go there. We will have to have an in if we're going to make this work. Right now, I am not of a high status in Camarilla to make those proclamations. But if we play our cards right, Maki doesn't have to worry about the Scourge or the Sheriff if we get her in front of the right representative, or primogen, as it were. Maki, I know you want to be as far away from the Camarilla as possible. But because the prince showed up and not the Scourge or the Sheriff, makes it very clear. She's not here to kill you.
If she wanted to do that, she would have already done it.
Right. But to save face so you don't look like you're being a delinquent, we do have to go. And unfortunately, it's going to be very uncomfortable for all of us.
When is it not?
When we're dead.
And hopefully
Yes.
that won't be for a long time.
Long time.
I would say it would
That
really
being
suck
said,
to narrowly escape, like very narrowly escape death, and then to die right now. So that is very low on my priority list right now.
I will point out this. I've been around enough to know that just because we have immortal life doesn't mean we're not just one hair shy away from meeting final death at any given time.
well
I am more than aware of that.
Look at lobsters, for example. They will eat each other. We're essentially the mammalian version of a lobster.
You know what? You do you on that one. The
Mhm.
point is, I hate that you're fucking right. I wish I. This would have been so much easier back home, but unfortunately, I don't have a great footing here because I'm so new. At the very least, I can step up to whoever this clan list representative is and vouch for you that you've been a good little newborn.
I'm also going to tell you the tradition, as I'm very aware that you may or may not know all of them.
That's because I don't give a fuck about tradition, but go away. Go ahead.
Oh.
I mean,
The only one that we really look after, because most of us are comprised of what I have conceived as being anarch, is to keep the masquerade. That's about it. But there are 6 of them, 7 if you really want to get technical. The idea of tradition 1 is keep the masquerade at all times, at all costs. 2 is domain. I'm going to give all of them. Essentially, I'm going to just kind of say, he tells you all of them. Because I don't remember off the top of my head without looking it up.
behold the rules.
The
The
rules.
rules. Which
Ma-
number 7? Which number 7? I do know. Is if you do decide to break any of these, don't get caught.
Yeah.
I have had my fair share of experience with the masquerade, given my domator for the last 70 years very much skirted the line. Any standing that I have with the Camarilla most likely died with him. Because although he was not a part of the Camarilla, he did enough favors to at least earn some respect.
I wish I met him.
He was a great man.
I've seen a lot of great men.
And a lot of great men die.
Well, there's always revenge, right?
Well, that's kind of my whole goal right now.
Just
I
remember
knew I
tradition.
liked you.
Just remember tradition.
Yeah, don't get caught.
I
I'm good at
was
that.
always very careful. It was my domator that had an issue with the getting caught part. Hence why he had a babysitter in our bar for weeks. I hate that purple-haired bitch. Anyways.
Well, keep your thoughts and feelings about said bitch to yourself, because we may end up seeing her.
Oh, I'm more than sure we will. And I, luckily, have been the face of the bite for a long time. And I was the more political one out of the two. I know how to put a mask on and I know how to keep it.
Good. Because if you ever have your mask broken, I just want to let you know I am a cobbler. I can fix you a new one.
Oh, good. I've been trying to learn that skill, but it's a little difficult. I do have the technical things down. It's just finding the information I need. Anyways,
I believe this covers what I needed to talk about with you two. I do believe
What we need now is to hunker down, regroup, and get ready.
Also, I wouldn't stay in your haven all the time. I'm working on that, so I may need your help later about that. But I have to consort with another that we've met, Sammy.
well, I'm going to go get ready. I need to go stop by the bar and get things situated before we go to Elysium tonight.
Yeah.
So, good luck, I guess, is the best thing I can say for all of us.
And just remember, all smile.
Okay. I fucking hate Cameron. And she wants it.
Sammy, where are you at the moment?
We're going with the same night and everything. Technically, I had walked out with Audley, so I suppose conversation was had or something like that. So Jimmy would probably catch her walking down the hallway, possibly making her way back to her room. She might have taken the time to, since both Jasper and Grace are currently out, she might have taken the time to pick them up, get them back to where they are, and at least put them in their beds. So if they wake up, they're not going to be in the middle of the floor.
And with that, Jimmy, you find Sammy walking down one of the, to you, unfamiliar corridors. As you're wandering around, looking, trying to find your way, you ask people here and there. A couple of the other individuals that seem to be staying with the Coterie point you in the direction.
Miss Sammy?
Oh, Jimmy. What's up?
May I have a word with you?
Sure. She'll look around, find one of the empty rooms that are randomly around, and prop it open and make a little motion for him to step inside.
As they step inside, he closes the door. I heard you're good at finding things.
That would be my job, yes.
I am looking for something. I am looking for a warehouse that's for sale. I wanna create a mental health facility, and I figured you might be the best to know where I might be able to find one.
I'll admit real estate isn't my first area of expertise, but I've got a couple of contacts I might be able to tap into to find out something, given it's, well, with us, we have to go through a couple of extra hoops to purchase things.
I would like to. I have only this much money. And he actually reaches into his bag and shows you that he has a bunch of cash. About, I don't know, how much does he have?
Do me a favor.
Yes.
Roll me a d10.
Okay. Grab my box of dice then for that, because I'm not going to be able to get a good, accurate reading. Five.
Fair. 1 second.
Half of what he has? Would you say?
It's about 80,000 in there.
I have
Conser-
this much
conservative
on
estimate.
me. Is this going to be enough for a
yeah.
down payment?
Yeah, I would say that's probably enough.
He takes the bag off and hands it to her.
Oh,
Looking
you want me to?
very, very innocent about it.
Storyteller, have I felt anything off of him at this point? This feels very weird to her. Like,
What are you looking for?
I don't know. Does anything just feel off about him, I guess? Like, is this guy for real right now? I suppose is the vibe that she's checking for.
Because it's in the moment, you're going to give me a wits plus insight.
Okay.
Can I roll with subterfuge?
Absolutely, you can.
Wouldn't have it any other way, Ocean.
I love it when you guys take agency like this. Thank you.
By the by, could I consider this a finessing, i.e. seduction?
Is that your subterfuge specialty?
That is my subterfuge specialty.
Yeah, I'll give you the extra dice on it. Why not?
I'll just roll that extra. I already got 5, so I'm gonna roll one more.
Glorious.
And that's a 6. Got a 6 crit success.
Thankfully,
Oh
I
my
got
God.
one success, or this was about to go very poorly because of what my hunger die said. Because otherwise, that would have been bad. Yeah, one success.
Jimmy takes it.
Oh, it seems exactly as it says. It's very genuine. Oh my word, he is just the most beanest of beans.
Okay. Yeah, I will look into this and I will get back to you then. And she's just you don't see that confidence in her break often. This is just a level of WTF you have not seen out of her in ever.
I remembered something. I have to go and talk with Sweets now. Thank you, and I will look forward to seeing you again.
Okay.
And off Jimmy goes to
Are you-
try to find Sweets.
Sweets, where are you at?
Front porch, pacing back and forth, waiting for Lucas to arrive. And grumbling about my car. I'm very, very angry about my car.
Of course you are. Why wouldn't you be? As the front door opens and Jimmy exits. Runs almost smack into you.
Oops, sorry.
No problem.
I do have one thing I need to talk with you about. I heard
Sure, just
that-
drop it. Drop it. Don't do it with me. Come on. We've known each other long enough. Drop it. Just talk to me normally and ask me whatever you want. I'm not. I just can't. Okay. My car is
Alright.
missing. Lucas is mad at me. I just ask.
Okay. Would you be willing to teach me potent if I offer you a major boon? Or essentially a large favor?
You're like really fucking old. Why are you asking me that?
Because it's something I don't know. And I could
Oh.
use it to help survival.
Oh. Well, yeah, sure. Just don't use it against me or mine, or I'll tear your head off.
I think it's
Fair?
implied when we've known each other for so long that you know I wouldn't do that.
Okay, point. I'll admit that was. I'm sorry. It's just the car is. In 2 days we've been missing.
You're on high end. And I know that right now you're stressed. And I want to bring you back down. Because I know that you don't want to be up there. You want to be down here, grounded, where you're in control again. So I'm going to try to help you get there.
She just kind of like crosses her arms, little foot tapping. She's just a short, angry mushroom right now.
I know that everything will work itself out. And I know you don't have to do this. I know we don't need this, but I need you to breathe. Even in this moment, it is cathartic to feel air moving through your lungs.
Fine.
Better?
Yeah, okay, shut up, that worked. Fine. I will. You can come back with mine so that I can, like, shower after. Lucas will come pick us up. We will get clean. I will teach you what I can in time we have until we have to go to this stupid Elysium.
Okay. Maki also needs a ride because you drove her here.
And there's still your stuff in the car.
With that, Jimmy, you taking off for a moment. Sweets, Lucas shows up on the front step. You, of course, take care of business with Lucas. Do what you need to do. Refresh your bond, make sure that Lucas is okay. Lucas
Explain to him what everything that's been happening.
Lucas tells you he will see what he can do about looking out for the car.
Right now, actually, don't. I can't believe I'm saying this. Don't go get the car. Because everyone who's gone to look for shit in that area has not come back. So, we'll just. We have all the other cars. It's not like it's my favorite, but it's not my only one. We'll deal with it.
Alright. I'll head back home then.
Just hold on a sec. There's a couple people that need to come with us, and because we need to head back out to see the prince.
Wouldn't she normally send a ride for you?
I don't know. She's weird, and okay, maybe she will. I'll ask.
The answer to your question is the ride has actually already been provided.
Oh, okay. All right, sweet. Okay, fine.
We still need showers.
Yeah. And we'll assume that there's a bit of a time skip here wherein you guys can, have time to get freshened up, put the proper clothes on and whatnot. Make yourselves presentable. You all have had enough time to freshen up, to put on your appropriate clothes that you wish to wear, whatever they are. It has been communicated to you that a ride will be there to arriving to pick you up shortly. As you all gather in the lobby, in the foyer of the abandoned hospital, which most of you now call home, I'm going to need those of you currently there to roll me a wits and awareness roll.
ST,
Yes.
can I use my specialty instincts?
In this case, no.
Okay.
That is a 2 for Maki. That is a 5 for Jimmy.
Crit.
That is a 2 for Sammy. That is a 4 for Dorme, and a 4 for Sweets. Sweets, Dorme, and Jimmy. As people are gathering, there is one face that does not appear to be present at the moment. That should be here. Somebody who has apparently decided not to show up tonight. Oddly.
Where's Audley?
I'm not sure. The wee puppet, I guess, decided to probably do things on her own. She seems like the type.
Dorme would have procured Audley's number by now, correct?
More than likely, I think I know Audley's in the audience tonight. Are you okay with that?
Well, also she sent text to everybody who was invited to
Oh yeah,
the event.
Yeah, you'd have. So we have confirmation from Audley in the chat actually, and yeah, Audley would have sent you text invite to the circus.
All right. Dorme's gonna text the number that she received the circus tickets at, and asking, "Hey, Audley, darling, where are you? We're getting ready to go to Elysium."
You send off the text. I'm going to ask you a very pointed question. Is that the way you wish to phrase this over text?
No, I'm sorry. I would phrase this as, "We're getting ready to go to that important meeting."
Very well.
Thank you for giving me a chance to fix that.
I'm nice every once in a while. At first, you see that reply bubble pop up with the dots in it, like Audley's typing. And then they disappear. And then they pop up again. And then they disappear. And then they pop up again before a message, "You got," and that's all you get. Yes, Jimmy.
Jimmy texts Audley. I emoji. Miss you. With like 4 U's and then hit send.
You get no response.
And what is it that Audley sent me before it just went dead?
You go. 1 second. You go, and then the letter O, and that's all you get.
Dorme's gonna kind of blankly stare at the phone for a second and then send a message, "Are you okay?"
You get no response.
"Darling, are you okay?"
You get no response.
Okay, it looks like Audley's not coming. I think she's still handling things over on her end at the warehouse.
Looking at the message that she sent, it's almost like it got cut off mid-sentence.
She's gonna hand the phone to Sammy. Is this like her weird sort of like shorthand that she has that I don't understand yet?
how she would normally behave. I mean, you could say that O would be oddly, however, that's lowercase. Although, who knows if she'd go with for grammar or stuff the little chaos demon, but...
If you want, the techie over here could take a look.
And she'll
She's
hand,
gonna...
and she'll
Yeah.
like do the hand thing, like, please, by all means.
Okay, can I? So I'm going to take the phone, and Maki wants to work her techie magic to see if she could figure out where the text was sent from.
We'll do intelligence plus technology.
Sorry. You're good.
Am I right here?
It's a 7. What's your specialty in technology?
We did not pick one.
Okay. Given how familiar you are with tech, given that it's literally your job, and you have to know the ins and the outs, you are able to track down the last known location of the phone itself, despite Audley's security precautions. You're able to find out where the text was sent from. It was sent from Audley's warehouse. Here's the problem. The phone's no longer there. As a matter of fact, trying to track the location of the phone, you can't find it.
Well, that's lovely. So you literally, what you see is Maki has, like, your phone, Dorme, and then pulls out her phone, and is just doing a bunch of fucking typing and shit on both of the phones at the same time, and you're just like, how the fuck is she doing this? And now it's at superhuman speed, because she's Kindred now. She's like, oh my god, I love the fact that I can do this so fucking fast now. And then she kind of stops, and she goes, she puts her phone away. She hands you back your phone. She goes, okay, do you want the good news first, or do you want the bad news first?
Well, my mama always said, when in doubt, always go with the bitter before you get the sweet. So, what's the bad news?
I can't find where the phone is right now. As in, it doesn't exist.
Okay, so what's the good news?
The text was sent from her warehouse.
Okay, so we may not know where she is now, but we knew where she was when she sent it initially.
When she sent the text, she was at her warehouse. However, as of right now, her phone does not exist. Because if I can't find it, it doesn't exist.
Well, that is some damn fine jiggery pokery there, Miss Maki. You are
I didn't get paid the big bucks for nothing.
Sammy.
Can I pull my phone out of my pocket, specifically not mentioning this to anyone else, and send a text off?
Sure. You're trying to do it stealthily. You're gonna have to roll me a Dex plus. Stealth, I guess, would work.
This ought to be fun.
Jimmy, thank you for your rolls.
Messy crit.
One moment. You concentrate. Taking a moment. As hard as you can. You see the warehouse. You see the security doors. But there's something off. You can't quite put your finger on it, but it's like it doesn't belong. It's almost like somebody's opened a wound. The wound is bleeding. Before you're snapped right back into the moment. Sammy.
1.
Is
It'll be one
anybody
of those
caring
nights.
to pay attention to Sammy at all before I give my next little bit? Yeah?
I just was curious. Are we in the vehicles or are we waiting
Give
for the vehicles?
me 1 sec, we'll get there. Wits plus awareness, please, Dorme. Yeah, you notice Sammy take the phone out of the pocket, type off a message. As Sammy slides the phone back in, there's a knock on the door.
She'll
go
just
get
kind
it.
of, and she'll just kind of like lean into Sammy. And who are we trying to get a hold of right now?
Oh, just looking into something. You don't have to worry about it. A bit standoffish. Not like hostile, but definitely like a, and I'm not telling you that.
There's
Sort of
another knock at
thing.
the door.
Jimmy opens it.
There's a gentleman on the other side in what looks to be a chauffeur suit and a great big limo sitting outside, blacked out windows.
All right, it's here.
All right, let's get this shit show going.
Dorme will look back at her ghouls. I'm sorry, the grim on the head is ADD. Dorme will look back at her ghouls and just kind of give the marching orders of riders in charge, follow whatever directions he gives you, behave yourselves, and please do not flirt with Moon because he's already had enough macaroni and cheese today, and he does not need any more.
Of course.
Moon only flirts for mac and cheese. I want to have that be canon.
Of course. Somebody really should get him an optometrist, though. Seems to be a serious problem with his eyes.
His eyes are just made that way. His vision's fine, at least as far as I know.
It's not long later that you guys find yourselves seated in the back of the limo. Rolling through town. Again, the streets are a bit quiet. Off in the distance, you can hear a few air horns. Something about a sports game tonight.
Oh, everybody and their damn sports ball.
As you roll through the town, not through the city, you roll down one of the busier streets. 82nd Ave, White Ave, as it's known, to an old abandoned theater called the Princess Theater. This place looks like it was made in the either late 1800s, early 1900s. It's got that old Western style facade on the front. That old, like, we're talking Wild West style buildings. It was very distinct. It's got the marquee up top, now playing, and then nothing underneath. The limo stops and lets you all out. There is another gentleman standing outside the front door, just kind of leaning up against the wall, looking not out of place as he hauls out a cigarette. His eyes, however, are locked onto each and every one of you as you walk up to the front door.
Hello, Angel Eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Evening, sir.
Can I help you?
We're here for Elysium.
I'm sorry, I don't know what that is.
Oh, good. Neither do we.
Very well. He takes a long haul off his cigarette, walks over to the door, it's only a couple of steps, pulls it open.
Jimmy's walking in.
Dorme will walk behind Jimmy. Thank you, sir. As she looks at the gentleman and just keeps walking, head held high.
Sweets has been extremely quiet, which is odd, and she just doesn't even utter a word, just a nod, and walks in.
Sammy will give the guy a little nod and take a deep breath and walk in.
You see Maki, and Maki's whole persona has changed. She is now very straight back, elegance to her, head held high, very sweet smile as she walks in.
You walk in. Sorry, 1 second.
Sirens.
So we basically just saw Maki go into her customer service phase.
You walk.
More like businesswoman.
You walk into the building, and you are greeted with a rather old-timey theater lobby. Single counter, couple of cash registers. There appears to be refreshments being served from here as the door shuts behind you with a solid thud. Thick oak doors. The inside has been transformed, however. Blacks, reds, purples, all draped from the walls. The carpet is rather plush. It's probably got to be a bitch to clean. There's people milling about out here in the lobby. There's a set of stairs that seem to be roped off that go up a floor. And then at the far end of the atrium where you guys are, there's a couple of sets of doors. Hallways leading off onto either side. At one point, this theater was considered the pinnacle of entertainment in this area. It was an attraction. It was a place people got dressed up to go see movies back in the day. Unfortunately, since then, it has fell into a bit of disrepair, or so that's the story that goes around anyways. The inside, however, is impeccably maintained. Impeccably. Matter of fact, we have a Toreador here that's going to have to make a willpower roll. That's composure and resolve.
I forget, are hunger dice involved in those or not?
Composure and
Or
resolve,
willpower
yes.
roll?
In this case,
Okay, thought so.
your hunger dice probably will be.
Couldn't remember. I know there's certain ones there aren't. Yep, it's gonna be one of those nights.
You rolled a 1. Were any of
Yeah.
the fails a hunger dice?
No.
Good. You walk in, you're just immediately caught by this place. It's not a place you come often, you try to avoid it, given your leanings. But it is impeccably done. The paintings, the decor, the oak, the dark oak kind of accentuating almost that sense of beauty for you. And you're just kind of enraptured. You actually almost walk straight into somebody as you're looking around. You catch it at just the last minute, before realizing it's Felicia that you almost ran into.
Hello, Red Eyes.
Forgive me, my prince. Just beautiful.
I know. I designed it.
Are we upstairs?
No, we'll be on the other side of those oak doors at the other end of the atrium in a few moments. About ready to
Angel.
start. For the moment, grab yourselves a refreshment. And please do deposit any and all tech with our... wouldn't say they're security, but yeah, that's effectively what they are. You'll get your phones back at the end of the night, as well as any weapons you might have on you.
Does my mind count?
You have one?
I do. You know I do.
Suppose we'll dispense with that for the moment.
If only it were that easy to remove my brain.
Believe me, there are days.
Dorame will walk over to Sammy and just kind of try to like loop her arm in with hers, which you see is her kind of like spacing out after she's run into the prince, and look at Felicia and be like, "Thank you kindly for your generous hospitality," and she'll hand off her clutch purse in the other hand to the security, quote unquote, gentleman. There you go. Please be careful with that. It's vintage.
I see.
Sammy will gain enough. Enough brain power.
Cognizance?
Yes, cognizance. Thank you. Ironic. To reach in, pull her phone out, and interesting that Dora May's the one that's grabbing her, because she will see her kind of glance at her notifications and make a kind of noise before she then gives the person the phone and reaches in her little holster and pulls her pistol out and hands it to him as well.
The individual collecting these items just nods, gives you a small little tag.
Maki walks up, and you see Maki pull out one phone, and then another phone, and then a different looking phone, and then you see an iPad, and then you see a small pistol, and then you see another pistol, and she just hands it all, and they're all from various parts of her body because she doesn't have a purse. So she just hands all of it to the person and says, "Thank you. Be sure not to break it."
He hands you a small little ticket before you hear Felicia's voice speak up from behind you. "And the other one."
And you see Maki very quickly reach down her shirt, or whatever, she's wearing a dress, but reach down and pull it out, and it's this very tiny, compact little tech thing, and she slides it over.
Do we need to have a talk about Elysium decorum?
I'm working on it.
"No, ma'am. I had just forgotten that I stuffed it there."
Nature's purse, I suppose.
Well, I mean, sometimes I forget that things are there.
Since
It happens.
you are new, And you are relatively very much a youngling. A question needs to be asked of you. Are you in suitable control of yourself?
Yes.
Good. This is the only time I'm going to offer this. Would you prefer that which is at the counter, or would you prefer straight from the tap?
Maki kind of like thinks it over and thinks about like what's going to be the safest. And she's just like, I'll take the table.
Pre-poured?
Whatever you're offering, I will accept.
Again, we have pre-poured or we have straight from the tap.
Report.
You see Felicia raise a hand, signal to somebody actually behind the counter, and signal them to come over, and then raises kind of a goblet. There's an individual that walks out from behind the counter, sandy blonde hair, probably about 6 feet in height. Looks like they defy any and all gender norms whatsoever. You can't tell one way or the other. And they hand you a champagne flute, completely full. And with that, Felicia heads off. If you'll excuse me, final preparations need to be made.
Jimmy walks up to the keeper and hands their phone.
And the guard takes it and hands you a ticket. And it's only a few moments later where the doors are thrown open and there's some soft jazz playing from the interior. As people start filtering in through those wooden doors at the other end. One moment. Give me 1 second while I refill my drink.
Nice. That's very, very nice. Super nice.
I guess Cindy still has to hand in her phone as well, so while everybody's looking elsewhere, I'm just going to.
Also, I wanted to point out in the clutch purse was Dorme's 38 and her phone. She was able to find. She has a collection of purses, and she found one to fit every occasion.
They have pockets.
Maki has learned how to fit everything. Anywhere. In multiple places. In multiple outfits. And probably has sewn in hidden pockets in all of her clothes.
That's why layers are so
Yeah,
important.
I had to remember I was wearing the little dress, which meant that holster was totally thigh strap, like move it out of the way, expose the leg, pull the gun out.
Sammy probably would have gotten a wolf whistle or two.
Then they'll tell Jasper later, yeah, I know how this works.
As you filter into the room, a bunch of individuals also do likewise. Some you recognize, some you don't. One of the first people in through the room, however, is a figure in a bit of a wrap or a shawl around their face, and seems to be standing out at the front of the crowd. Picks up a seat down at the bottom of the auditorium right in front of the stage as Felicia steps out onto the stage. Just kind of looks over the crowd as you guys all get settled. makes an introduction, Pleased that you have all shown up tonight. Appreciate your expediency in coming. We have a few issues to attend to this evening. Can we get a description of the shawled one, please?
Important clarification. This is a room where only kindred exist, correct? There is nothing that I don't have to worry about breaking the masquerade here.
Correct. Anything on the inside of this building is considered masquerade safe.
Perfect. The figure is sitting up front with the shawl, a thin green shawl. It's the only color they're wearing. Everything else is black. About their head and face. And the minute those doors click shut, they reach up and drop their scarf from their head. And you see, those of you who rolled high enough at the Pussycat the other night, a familiar head of silver hair with black roots. You see them sitting there in it's a trench coat, but it's made of black leather. As they turn their head, you see those familiar one eye lined red, one eye lined blue eyes with the slit above the blue eye in the eyebrow. You see underneath that trench coat a black dress, no tunic, you can't tell exactly, with a very comfortable pair of black leggings and boots. Comfortable boots, not Elysium worthy boots, but boots. And they turn their head and they see you. And they seem to be scanning you looking for someone. They find one of the people they're looking for, but not the other.
Felicia looks down at this figure, raises an eyebrow. Up until now, this individual has not said a word. Not a peep, hasn't made a sound. In their own right, they look fairly imposing. Something almost of an energy and aura about them. You're not sure what that's about. Felicia stares at them for a good long moment. Prue, I believe...
Prue's attention turns back to Felicia, away from the coterie. They got distracted. She got distracted for just a moment.
I do believe you have an introduction to make, yes, as is tradition?
You see this Nosferatu's eyes scan around the room and back to Felicia with a look on their face of, seriously? In front of all these people?
Do you... so Felicia seems to understand exactly what's being communicated and without missing a beat, returns. Do you want license to work in my city, or would you prefer me to toss you outside of city borders right here and right now?
Prue gets up. Prue goes to stand in front of the prince and lowers themselves into a very respectful bow, possibly even on one knee. And suddenly, from this imposing figure, looking straight at the prince because they cannot look at anyone else in the room when they do this, you hear this.
Your esteemed and gracious highness, Prince Felicia Ducaste of Edmonton, I humbly present myself in this establishment, standing in respectful surrender in your presence to sincerely request your recognition of my specified status as a transient resident of your city and your blessing and sanction of me extending my skills and services to the denizens of your city, as is the standard essence of my business. I solemnly swear that I will abstain from consciously consorting with those who seek to enlist my assistance in any subversive, seditious, or otherwise treasonous schemes against you or your peers, and that I will come at speed straight here to Elysium should I be summoned by yourself or your close allies to act as a resource at your disposal. I will strive to be straightforward and honest in your presence, answering whatever I am asked, keeping no secrets, except in the case of being specifically sworn to silence by some outside association to whom I owe. I almost made it.
Take a breath, okay? You've got this. You're good. You're doing really good.
I almost made it, and I looked up and I saw Quinn's face.
Take a moment. Just take a moment.
I'm trying to laugh, okay? I'm trying to be serious.
Keeping no secrets except in the case of being specifically sworn to silence by some outside association to whom I owe significant esteem. I await your gracious response.
Felicia smiles, which is rare again for Felicia. Nods. So noted. Welcome to the city. Thank you. You are welcome to work within our city limits, under the terms and conditions laid out. Now, we have another introduction to make tonight. And Felicia's eyes flick from Prunella to Maki. Don't worry. I understand your urgency in trying to fix things and feel sympathy for your plight, even if it is not the proper way to undertake things. And for the moment, cannot blame you for doing so. There is one in the city, however, we may have to have a talk with, but that is not your problem. Care you to make a formal introduction?
I'm sorry, I have like no fucking speech prepared, so I'm trying to think of something on a fly.
Just sidebar for a second. All you really need to do is like introduce yourself, kind of, you're new to the city, that sort of thing. Just make something up.
Yeah, I pre-wrote all of that, and after session, I will happily explain what in good gracious that was.
Okay. Oh god. All right. Let me. Does Maki also need to come up on stage, or can Maki stay where she is?
You're welcome to stand up.
Okay. All right. Customer service. Let's go. Maki stands up to her full 5-foot height. She is in heels, so she's like 5'2". Straightens herself up, kind of just looks very poised and smiles, and just says, "My name is Maki. I am the owner of the bite, and I am newly embraced." And that is all she says.
So noted. Officially welcome to the city, and more importantly, welcome to being more than cannon fodder, I suppose.
Maki keeps her smile and just nods and then sits back down.
Dorme's gonna lean over and like try to catch Maki's attention and be like, "I'm so proud of you. I am so proud of you."
Same.
Now, we have some business to attend to. Yes, Jimmy?
I believe you have a representative for those that are clanless, yeah?
We shall make appropriate arrangements. We are not unsympathetic to the cause. As much as they are looked down on in other cities, consider me a bit of a soft spot.
Thank you.
Now, we have some business to attend to. As Felicia looks out over the crowd, that smile on her face falters. And a moment later, it's stone cold. She looks down at the coterie, what's left of it as she knew it. We have had some disturbances across the city as of late. And we are not the only ones who have noticed. What happened at the basilica not too long ago, both inside and out? Because we had to clean up the mess inside. At a considerable expense. Well, I'm waiting.
Sammy will look around.
Sammy, Dorme, that's you.
Sorry.
Yeah, Sammy will look around and kind of realize, why is it always me? And just slowly get up.
Dorme will slowly but gracefully stand to her feet.
As you're looking around, Sammy, there is a figure that pops out in the crowd. A certain purple-haired individual that was mentioned earlier.
Okay.
If
Would I notice this figure too?
more than likely. It's Quilla, the babysitter.
This is slightly above my pay grade, Prince, so my associate Dorame will fill in any gaps that I may not be able to appropriately explain. My investigations don't go into the paranormal that much, although, weirdly enough, given what we are. But in this case, we had a mortal fiddling with things that they probably shouldn't be fiddling with. Things involving the Shadowlands and uses of it. There were flowers with fog. There were all sorts of things. Several of our coterie members were sucked into the Shadowlands themselves. We even had a situation where some of them did not make it out and we had to retrieve them.
So,
And even some that did not make it out alive.
you violated that boundary not once, but twice.
One, if I may with respect, was not on our accord. The aforementioned mortal opened portals and sucked members through.
Mortals do not
can assure
carry
you-
the power to open those types of portals.
And yet, in front of my own eyes, someone that we thought was indeed immortal did just that. There were unspeakable things in the basement of that basilica. I'm sure you observed certain things, certain bits of evidence, to talk in my parlance, of things they were doing.
And as for
They were doing sacrifices.
As for the
Forgive me.
encounter
Go on.
outside,
Once again, it was something beyond our control. Someone who could
There's-
only describe as a maniac decided to send two shadowy henchmen towards us, therefore making us defend ourselves. Considering that this gentleman had zero intention of leaving any of us alive, we fought to the best of our ability.
I see.
There's some strange entity wearing gray sweatpants. They've been showing up occasionally. I can assure you we are not chasing them down. They are attacking us.
I see.
They have some sort of shadow powers, but otherwise, I don't know.
Prunella raises their hand.
Prunella, Felicia looks over towards Prunella for a moment.
While I have no current knowledge of the circumstances,
You can tell she was trying to avoid using an S word.
that they are discussing,
I can vouch from my own knowledge that there are mortals that exist that have that sort of power. Maybe not often found in your fair city, but they do exist.
So noted. Perhaps you lot would... yes, Maki.
Maki would also, with the mention of the gray sweatpants, would pipe up and say he's also kidnapping people's ghouls and also murdered a kindred on several occasions, and actually did succeed in murdering a kindred.
Prue raises their hand.
Who, I might also add, I had to get in contact with the other prince in the Netherlands because that was their kindred.
Prunella.
You know, the nature of our agreement says I cannot always share how I know the things I know. But I swear to you on the oath that I swore before, I can vouch they are telling the truth.
This brings me to my second question. The body that was recovered inside a refrigerated warehouse. I believe you, Maki, knew this individual intimately.
There were two bodies. There should have been two. One was Kieran's touchstone, Damien, the human, and Anna, the one whose prince I had to contact in the Netherlands.
Anna's body was not found. If it was, they would have either been ash or, blown away. But
That's fair. Yes, correct.
okay.
You can see at the mention of the bodies, Prunella looks pissed.
I would also just like to point out that I was the other one that was kidnapped by the man in sweatpants, and they took me from outside of the bar, the bite.
We'll get to that in a minute. Felicia's eyes flick towards Pernilla, and yes, we know you were there. We got the surveillance footage.
Dorame will just kind of look over towards Pernilla and be like,
The
Sorry, my
bloodbath
doctor-
inside the circus.
My talk to type went crazy. Pernilla looks bemused at the surveillance footage and mutters something about, guess I need to be better at covering my tracks.
The bloodbath inside the circus the other night. The other night. Believe we've already discussed that. Speaking of which, you folks seem to be at least one short tonight.
Yes. And I can vouch that I did track their location. And while their last location was at the warehouse, the phone no longer exists. After it went to the warehouse, it no longer existed.
Fascinating.
She's dealing with something right now.
I'm very much afraid that whatever happened to your people that you sent could very well possibly have happened to her as well at this point.
The explosion at both the Bite and a certain establishment in the city?
That, I will say, is we are still investigating. They did leave clues, but the body was not discernible. However, when they did cause the explosion, not even a couple of days later is when I was kidnapped, and we believe that both instances are linked intrinsically with these gray sweatpants man, as we have been calling him.
And your foray into these so-called Shadowlands would explain why there have been sightings of wraiths around the city. What to do? As I mentioned, it always seems to be you lot when there's a disturbance here lately, for some reason. Yet, you have provided valuable, isn't that right, Quilla, in previous instances?
That is correct.
Would you say they are adept at cleaning up their messes eventually? You spent some time among them.
They seem particularly skilled in that way.
What is your opinion of them, my dear?
Well, some of them I need not speak of because they are no longer among us, but they seem to be able to accomplish things when things need to get done, when others would not.
Despite shit blowing up in their face, the ability to be able to handle things under pressure is not to be overlooked. I'm caught between a rock and a hard place. Because normally, these instances would have to be dealt with by us. Alright. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to assign you a little bit of help. Prunella. I'm going to get you to hang out to accompany these individuals, this coterie, and help them figure out what's going on, help them clean up this mess as you are able, as does not interfere with your other business. And I'm going to get you to make regular reports back to me on how things are going. Constant line of, an open line of communication suits everyone best here, I think. Basically, you are going to be my eyes and my ears. To the Coterie, I expect you to treat Penella as an extension of me. Yes, Jimmy.
Well, I should come up with a new nickname for her.
If she so desires it. That might be a conversation you want to have with her.
Did you desire yours?
That is a conversation you will need to have with her.
I'll have to find one that'll fit.
Offering up space in your domicile, you will be adequately compensated. But for the moment, she is to remain with you. Understood?
So you wish it, so you wish it, so shall it be. One. So you wish it, so it shall be.
As you command, Your Grace.
Good. I am... Yes, Jimmy?
That mean the Quilla no longer will be around?
Quilla will be overseeing the bite, as usual. That has not changed.
Do the bite.
Unless you have objections, Quilla.
If that is the task you wish me to fulfill, I will fulfill it.
And do me a favor, my dear. Try not to ruffle feathers this time. I'd hate to have another talk with you.
You are nothing but fair, Your Majesty.
Which brings me to my...
I'm so sorry, I just have to say this. Karen, in the afterlife. Yeah, fuck you, bitch. Sorry.
Which brings me to my final point. As I mentioned, normally these situations would have to be dealt with by us, and you lot would, in a lot of cases, no longer be allowed to either operate inside of city limits, aka excommunicated, or you would be left to be swept up. However, I have certain privileges that come with my station. I have seen what you are capable of with my own eyes. And when push comes to shove, you're handy to have around in an emergency, so it does not suit me at the moment to dispense with you. Just remember to clean up your messes.
Dorme will see Jimmy raising his hand and just very gently put her hand over his and just lower it down. No, 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 no. No more, honey.
Do I make myself clear?
Crystal.
Good. With...
A simple clarification, Your Majesty.
Yes?
As part of your decree, you are ordering them to host me in their haven?
I am.
Understood.
Again, Dorame just lowers the hand.
With that, official business tonight has been concluded. There will be refreshments, once again, served in the main lobby. As we slowly wind down this evening, thank you for your prompt attention to this, and I hope you find your missing member. And with that, Felicia walks off the stage. The doors to the room, to the theater open, and you are ushered back out. As you...
Clarification again.
Yes.
Once those doors open, are we expected to still keep the masquerade
No.
out in the lobby?
Anything inside of this building is considered masquerade safe. Stepping out onto the street, you will have to put it back up. But while you're in here, you are considered safe.
My apologies for interrupting.
Oh, you're good.
I just wanted that clarification because that very heavily affects what Prunella does.
Agreed. And I appreciate the moments to clarify. As you are moving throughout the rest of the evening, there's a few things that pop up that might catch your attention. But in order to figure out what, I'm going to need you guys to roll me a Wits plus Awareness. That's for everyone here.
Okay, I am the baby at the table. How do I do this?
Okay, you're good. I told you I'd hold your hand. So, you take your character sheet, you find your Wits, which is under your attributes, and then you find your Awareness, which is under skills, I believe on the right-hand side. They should actually both be on the right-hand side. You're going to take the dots with Wits, you're going to take the dots with Awareness, add them together, and that's how many dice you roll.
Okay, and how do I figure out how many of them are supposed to be hunger dice?
At the moment, we're going to set you with 1 hunger dice. We're going to set you with 1 hunger. Okay, so we've got 3 for Sammy, 4 for Maki, 7 for Sweets, 2 for Dorme. Yes, Jimmy?
Can I use my instincts in this?
No.
Okay.
But good try. 3 for Jimmy. Quilla? 2, thank you. Sorry, the black on black was kind of hard to see there for a minute.
Okay, so on my regular dice,
hold on a sec.
I roll.
Before we get into that, anything 5 and under is a fail. Anything 6 and over is a success. You're just going to tell me how many successes you have. Okay. On those successes, do you have any 10s? Okay. Are any of your hunger dice a 1? Good. You have 2.
One of my successes was a hunger dice.
Okay. That's only going to matter if you have 2 10s or more, because 10s pair to make a critical, and if one of those is at least one of those is a hunger dice, it turns into a messy critical. It's a whole thing. And then basically narratively, like I said, I'll hold your hand, I'll take you over. Just follow my cues, I gotcha. For those of you that rolled 3 and over, you can hear whisperings throughout the crowd. 1 second. I have a very needy cat.
So about them whispers.
So, I only caught Quinn's face. What do y'all think of Prunella so far?
Loving her.
She's adorable. It took all I could to just not laugh because Dorme has feelings about how she was presented and how she was made to present herself, but that's neither here nor there.
That's what I used to not crack too. Like I was too busy being pissed as Sammy in character.
As you're moving throughout the crowd for the rest of the evening, you, those of you who rolled 3 and over, you start to hear some whispers of things Things that just every once in a while catch your ear. Things that aren't normally talked about here. Somebody talking about some kind of blight that's affecting magical creatures and multiple coteries, putting them in comas, rendering them unconscious. A bar called the Rusted Howl having been overly quiet lately, which isn't a good thing when it comes to werewolves. Somebody mentioning, I don't think the prince can handle this.
That's sacrilege.
Here's somebody else talking about, did you hear all those new kindred that have been showing up? I'm pretty sure the prince didn't give permission for those. Did you hear? There were a couple of sailing vampires the other night. What's that all about? I heard there's a street racer that's been making waves with the mortals. Seems like the mortals are pretty sweet on her. Did you hear about that one kindred who's been ghouling everyone they come across? Who the fuck does that? And a response, issued a moment later. That's gotta be a rumor. No one's that stupid. Who the hell would be teaching them? I think I heard something about the SI being in the city. This Coterie's gonna get us all wiped out. And what kind of self-respecting vampire willingly hangs out and lives with some goddamn flea-bitten mongrel?
So Prue would usually be all on top of all of this. However, tonight, she is a woman on a mission. The minute everyone is out in the lobby and Felicia is otherwise occupied, Prue is going to make a beeline for Maki.
Jimmy steps up.
Yeah,
Maki.
Sweets is gonna be right there. Little wow.
Maki sees Maki, you see Prue coming toward you. This Nosferatu that you heard what was said in there. I'll leave up to you how you respond or if you say anything.
How tall is Prunella?
I don't think I ever wrote that down, but she's more than 5 foot, less than 6 foot, if that helps.
Pick a number.
Okay, because pick a number, because Maki's 5 foot, so I need to guesstimate how much the heels are giving Maki an advantage here.
Prunella gives tall vibes. She gives that like 5'10" vibe.
Pick a number.
Same.
1? Okay.
I was checking her Hero Forge to see how tall I made her on there. She's 5'7".
Okay, Maki in heels is right at her level.
Prue comes up to you. Kind of, she sees Jimmy and Sweets there. She kind of gives them a nod of respect. And then when she gets right up in front of you, she looks you in the eyes. And she doesn't go down to her knee the way she did with the prince, but she does bow her head to you and reach into her jacket.
This is for you.
Maki kind of looks at the poker chip in your hand. And I have a question. Can I use lie detector in here? No? I think
sorry.
lie detector is passive.
Okay, give me 1 second. Sorry, my mic was off. So if it's not passive or it requires a rouse check, you can't use it in here.
I'm pretty sure lie detector is
It's free.
passive. It's passive.
If it's passive, then yeah, you should. I mean, you should be able to. That's not something that you can just turn on and off. Not something that you can like tap into. There would be exceptions made for that here.
Okay, I wanted to make sure before I like ask my question of like I don't want to break a rule.
What's up, Ocean?
It's let me get it real quick. It is intelligence aspects versus composure subterfuge.
Okay, so intelligence and aspects for Maki.
Okay.
And you said it was what?
Composure subterfuge for the one.
If you're if you're attempting to hide anything, Prunella.
Okay, I am just going to because I'm just going to ask Prunella questions like before she even touches the poker chip. Just being like, that's not going to fuck with me, is it?
No.
And then I would use lie detector in this instance after the question.
Make your roll.
Okay.
Does that require a rouse check? No, you said it's free.
No,
yeah,
it's free.
Okay. Yeah, make your roll.
Do I use hunger die for this?
Yes.
Okay, double checking.
Yes, you
Should I still be rolling whether or do I only roll if I'm lying or do I roll anyway?
You roll anyway.
Only if you're lying. Oh.
It's
roll anyway.
Up to SD. Yeah.
Okay, what should I roll?
Composure and subterfuge.
Subterfuge, yeah.
That's a 4 for Maki. So you take your composure and your subterfuge dots and add them together.
And that's your dice.
And that's your dice pool.
Don't forget the hunger die.
Listen, Maki's been through too much. She's not about to just take something from somebody without knowing if it's gonna fuck with her.
Side note, does Sweets recognize these chips from anything and their possible significance?
No.
Also, if my dice landed on the floor, do I have to re-roll it?
Re-roll it.
Yeah.
Damn it, that was a 10.
ST, can I roll to see if I notice her handing a green poker chip over?
Wits plus awareness, please.
Thank you.
Also, I will point out.
Same for me.
I will also point out. Raise your hand if you were at the warehouse with Audley when she got the letter.
Why do you think I'm rolling the dice?
Yeah, Sweets,
Okay,
you can Sweets, you can also roll Wits plus awareness.
I did that too.
Yes, Jimmy, you were there also.
All right, cool.
You guys weren't there when we opened the letter, though. You had already driven off.
Hold on.
Yeah, the only person that was there when the letter was opened was Sammy.
Oh,
I just went more generically.
Sorry.
But also you guys were at the Velvet Pussycat when Prunella walked through.
Yeah, but
I didn't see that.
We're looking specifically at the poker chip right now, so give us 1 second. It'll be just Sammy for that. My bad. Sorry, lore's hard to keep track of some nights. That is a 3 and a 3.
One of my dice was a 10.
So that the 10s are only really going to matter if you have more than one. 4. Sorry, Maki.
I almost had more than one, but then one of them was on the floor.
So
I had another question. I don't remember what it was.
Okay. So Sammy and Prunella, roll me a single d10, please. Give me 1 sec, Maki. We'll get to you. What's the number on your d10?
7.
10.
Sammy, you instantly recognize this. You've seen it before. Audley was actually holding one in her hand the other night. Maki, as far as you are concerned, she is not telling a lie at all.
Prue, I think, sees the hesitation, puts the poker chip back in her pocket for just a second, reaches into another pocket, and pulls out a handful of other poker chips.
Okay. Since Maki knows she's not lying, Maki will gingerly take the poker chip and examine it.
Like I said, she pulls out a handful of other poker chips. I'm gonna hold them up one by one because otherwise I can't press my talk to type.
Yeah, it's fine.
She holds up the red one. Damn. She holds up the red one. Trivial. Holds up the blue one. Minor. Holds up the green one. Major.
Maki kind of twirls the poker chip in her fingers and goes, "So essentially you're giving me a major boon."
I owe you.
4?
The prince wasn't lying. I was there that night.
Are you talking about the warehouse?
A mutual friend of ours sent me there to to look the place over, to see where you were in there, to see if I could find a way to get you out. When I went there, I saw Anna and Adelie at the door. Anna saw me. I was sure Anna saw me. And she didn't say anything, so I figured that she didn't need the help. She had one of her huge guns with her, so I figured the two of them had it. I would just get caught in the crossfire. They didn't know me, so I left. I went back and I told our mutual friend what was going on, that Anna and Audley had you, and she accepted that. Then we heard that Anna and Damien were dead. Then we heard that Kieran was dead. Then we heard that you had to rush turn yourself in order to survive. I owe you.
Maki kind of stiffens when she starts talking about it, but it's kind of terrifying because she still has this smile on her face as if nothing's wrong. But everything else about her demeanor is just cold as ice. She goes, "Who's the mutual friend?"
The owner of the place where we can't say its name.
Maki kind of sucks her teeth a little bit. And she holds the poker chip and she shoves it back at you. I don't want it.
Why?
We are in polite company, so I will keep this very brief. You were there, and you did nothing. You were there, and she died. I don't want your pity. I don't need it. I can handle it on my own. So no, I don't want your boon. Because all it is unwanted pity for something that you feel guilty for. And I don't want it. Now, excuse me, I'm going to leave because we are in polite company and I need to keep face. And she's going to turn on her heel and she says nothing and walks off.
You guys will have to excuse me. I've got a fire alarm going in the background, which means it's going to be a little noisy on my end.
Jimmy will walk with Maki.
Sorry, what?
Jimmy will walk with Maki.
Sing sweets.
Sammy, having seen the poker chip, so she's been keeping her eyes on this entire situation, walks up, gives a little sigh. Pain will make a person react in various ways. I get what you intended to do, and you have a very kind heart for doing it, but she's raw right now.
She's not wrong.
I hope you
She's not wrong. It's not pity. It's what's fair. I messed up. Anna's dead because I didn't go in. You and Seraphina can tell me till you're blue in the face it's not my fault. But Maki is right.
A throat clears from the other side of the room. A very well-known throat clearing. Before we take off for this evening, and at the conclusion of kind of this speech, I guess, will be the end of tonight's festivities. Won't keep you too much longer. I'm assuming the Coterie is still around?
-3.
Go ahead, sorry.
I was going to say -3 because Sweets, Jimmy, and Maki have vacated.
We didn't leave. We didn't leave the premises. Maki just walked off.
Okay.
We just went somewhere else in the building.
We found something last night that belongs to you lot. A couple of somethings.
Oh, what'd you find?
One second. From one of the side doors that was that's gone unnoticed up until now, two rather burly men walk out, carrying over their shoulders two rather limp forms. You hear Felicia speak up. Could you gather around for a moment, please?
Quickly makes their way through the crowd.
Scoots over by Sammy.
On the floor in front of you are placed both Elizabeth and Lydia, both unconscious. Do try not to leave your things on our doorstep anymore.
Dorme will quickly get down and try to check Elizabeth and see if they're okay.
They're unconscious.
Who's that?
Two members of our, member of our coterie and someone of an purpose to her, I suppose, for lack of better terms.
And that's where we're going to end session for this evening.